Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another story time. We're back at it again, with these fake friends. And also, can we talk about for a second how it's like so hard to recognize like jealous friends, friends with like false motives, like when you're friends with them? Because in this situation, I didn't really like was able to grasp onto the whole picture until like a lot later when I'll talk it out with other people and I'll be like, oh. So once upon a time, I was in my freshman year of college, and at my school that I went to, like all the dorms were apartments. Like we really had it good up in there. And it was COVID especially, so it was only two people to an apartment, no matter how many rooms they were. They locked the other rooms. We don't talk about that. But anyway, I looked on the roommate thing and I found this roommate and like, we're chatting, talking about what do you have? What do you have? Blah, blah, blah. All these basic things for when you're moving in together, right? So that was obviously in summer, and then the move-in day comes and I meet my new roommate. We're gonna call my roommate, this friend, the story is about Lottie. Okay, so when I met Lottie, we were really cool. Like, she was someone that I clicked with, even though we didn't really have like a lot in common. Like, she was like a very like sheltered kid. Like, she wasn't able to do a lot in high school. She was kind of like afraid of a lot of things, and especially since it was COVID. Like, I don't get me wrong, like we lived in California. I was smart about COVID, but she was like really scared of like a lot of stuff and blah, blah, blah. So it was just really different. Not saying that I was the complete opposite of her. I wasn't like crazy outside in high school, but I don't know. I was just less sheltered than her. And like I realized that very early on, but we were still cool off the bat. We were just chatting, yapping it up, so excited to have our freedom. And yeah, that's where it all started. So obviously, because we're fresh out of high school, we just graduated months ago. I remember we started talking about high school and we were going to a PWI. If you're from Cali, any college you're gonna go to is PWI. So and she was black too. Like, part of the reason we found each other, we were both like, oh my God, yes, I was looking for a black roommate. I was like, girl, me too. But I was telling her how I grew up PWI my whole life. Like, when I went to school, most of my schools were always like white or Mexican people, and I was just talking about my experiences with that. And she was saying that she grew up in an area that actually had like a lot of black and Mexican people. Like, there wasn't a scarcity of black people growing up like it was in my experience. And I was just like, oh, cool. Like, we were just talk about high school, the different dynamics, stuff like that. Oh, I used to play basketball. Oh, you used to do track, whatever. We were just, like learning each other, especially like I said, since it's COVID, it wasn't like a real school year. So it's like we couldn't really explore. Like, it wasn't like you met a whole bunch of people in the rush of everything like a typical freshman year. We were just like, yeah, so we became like pretty close, pretty chill, and all that. And when we were talking about post high school graduation stuff, we touched on something, okay? I remember her talking about how she had like a lot of guy friends from high school, mainly people that she knew from track, because she was in track, which is obviously a boy girl sport. I never joined track. Track always looks super fun, but I was a basketball player and I never gave it a chance. But she was talking about her track experiences and her friends. She was like, yeah, like I'm kind of already seeing the effects of graduating. Like, honestly, like a lot of my guy friends are kind of like ghosting me. And I'm like, what? Why? She's like, well, yeah, like I'll try to still talk to them, keep in touch. Some of us went different places or some of us are still home. Mind you, she went to a school about an hour from where she lived. And this college for me was about half an hour from where I lived. And she was like, yeah, like I try to keep in touch with them, but they're just not really giving me that energy, like they like leave me undelivered or the conversation is blah blah. She told me how she was like a little sad about that. And I was like, boys, like I was like, girl, that's weird, but like don't let it get to you. Like, if they're not giving you effort or whatever, just like whatever. Little did I know how the trajectory of my year would turn out from this group of people. Okay, so one day we had a photo shoot with like this other girl, the girl from the fake friends story time, and we all posted pictures together. Like, we took pictures of each other. This girl had a really nice camera, but some of the ones we like tagged each other, stuff like that. So I remember I remember I got like a couple follows, and a couple of them were like mutuals of my roommate, of Lottie. But one of them followed me, and I was like, who's this? Like, I actually thought, he was really cute. I followed him back. And I don't remember if I told Lottie about this guy following me before he slid in or after. But I remember I mentioned it to her. I was like, who's this? Like, I see you guys are mutuals. And, okay, what name did I give this ex in other story times? I think I called him, I called him Hans, like the guy from Frozen, because he was a liar. So she was like, oh my God. When I showed her, she was like, oh my God, that's Hans. Like, he's my close friend. Like, we were track captains together. Like, oh my God, he followed you. I was like, yeah, he's cute. Eee. So, she was like geeked about it. She was like, cool, okay, like whatever. So fast forward a couple of days later, Hans slid in my DMs. We start talking immediately. We clicked immediately. That guy became my first love, my first all of that. But before all that, obviously I tell her like, oh my God, Hans slid in, like we're talking now, we're planning a date, blah, blah, blah. And she was like so geeked like about it. Well, she acted like super geeked, super excited for me, super hyped. And I just think that this girl was, maybe it was unintentional, but I quickly learned she was someone who I think like told people what they wanted to hear, because obviously she was my roommate. She was one of my only friends on campus, so we would talk about a lot. And she was like, oh, not this being the second time that Hans is dating one of my friends. I said, huh? And like we were young, we were 18. I know like when you're younger stuff is different, but like now that I'm older, I'm 21. I know a lot of stuff, unless it's like abusive or like it matters, like it's kind of irrelevant. Like you don't want to hear too much about your ex's past or whatever. It may cause you to overthink. It may, especially in your first love, which it definitely did back then. And she was like, yeah, like he used to date this girl that was my friend. We played volleyball together. And I was like, oh, she basically told me like the whole story. Like she was like, yeah, they dated. They were both my friends, but she was like, I really didn't mess with her. Like, I didn't mess with how she treated him in the relationship. Like, I really did not like them together. I don't really like her, blah, blah, blah. And where it's like, maybe she felt that way, but it's like, I feel like she would always bring it up to where I would just be like, oh, like, okay. Where it's kind of like, I feel like she's just telling me what she want to hear. Like, oh yeah, like, I'm gonna tell this new girl all the stuff I hate about her man's ex. Like, it was kind of just like, okay, girl. And mind you, this girl, I don't know if she did it intentionally or what, but she literally told me this girl's name. She showed me what she looked like. She showed me her Instagram, all of that. And so, unfortunately, I knew what my ex's ex looked. I mean, I knew what what this girl looked like, what her Instagram was. All that is not a healthy recipe to have when it's your first love, and you don't want to see all that, but it was already over. She already showed me all of it. And so months progress. Me and Hans are in a relationship for real. We go on dates. And I noticed two things. Remember how she used to say like, oh, I'm kind of sad because I feel like all my guy friends are like ghosting me. They're not really putting effort into our friendships anymore. Hans, my now boyfriend, or boyfriend then, was one of those people. And see, boys, people always want to talk about how fake girls are to each other. Boys are the fakest friends. Watch they abandon him at Six Flags in my Storytimes playlist for that story. Because he was one of those people, but now all of a sudden that his friend from high school that he was ignoring, not really paying any attention to once they graduated, all of a sudden when she put him on to this beautiful girl who now is this girl he's in love with, he's obsessed with, now all of a sudden you text her back. Now all of a sudden you'll answer her FaceTime. Now all of a sudden, oh, yeah, we should hang out, or you can hang out with us. Like, imagine from a friend's perspective, your friend ignoring you and not giving you the time of day, but now they are because you put them on to who's your girlfriend now. Like, that would be hurtful, but that's what happened. He was fake. So now her and my boyfriend at the time, they talk, they FaceTime, they come and hang out. Like, we hang out all together sometimes. We didn't have a car in college, but sometimes he would come and like we would take her grocery shopping in my boyfriend's car and all that. Like, Yeah, you fake, you fake. The second thing I noticed, I told y'all that this girl showed me what my boyfriend's ex looked like, her Instagram, all of this, gave me the whole tea. Why did I notice that Lottie, my roommate, I noticed her reposting her, talking about, so pretty, love the outfit, oh my god, the flyest. Weren't you just telling me how much you couldn't stand this girl and how much you didn't like how she treated your friend in the relationship, and you really didn't like her and you didn't like how she talked and you didn't, and now you posting her, oh my god, beauty, oh my god, I love the outfit, oh my god, so fly, like not even just commenting, girl, repost. mm mm
Boy, if you don't get.
So I remember I peeped that, and at first I was just like, noted, like weird, but noted. I was like, I don't really think it's something to confront her on yet. I just think it's weird. So I was like, the way she talks shit about this girl a lot, but apparently he's reposting her, my fave. I'm like, maybe that's my sign to just not tell her all my personal business. So I'm like, I'm not gonna tell her like my personal business like that. Like, we still cool, we can hang out, but I'm also not gonna tell her me and her friend's relationship business, because like, girl, if you get down like that, I feel like I couldn't really trust her fully after I seen that. But I peeped it for a little bit and I kept it to myself, but then I brought it up to my sister and she was like, yeah, that is kind of weird. And I ended up bringing it up to my boyfriend too, and obviously because it was his friend, he was like, I don't know, like, that's weird. And I was like, yeah, that's weird. But like, it wasn't like talking shit about her. I was just saying, like, I feel like it makes me kind of like side eye her. Like, I don't know. And he was kind of trying to play the devil's advocate, obviously, because it's his friend. He was like, well, I'm sure she doesn't like, she's not being fake on purpose. I'm like, yeah, but she's still being fake. But whatever. I just brought it up that one time. And again, like I said, I was like, she's still cool, but I just know I'm not gonna like tell her all my business, because I don't know what she gonna do with that information, because it seems a little suspect. You feel me? Fast forward, I don't know, a whole year, right? I think I've touched on this on a couple different videos on my channel. Me and Hans break up. He obliterates my heart. That was my first love, the guy I lost my virginity to, all that. I was basically love bombed. Like, I was, you know, those situations where men literally can't just tell you they don't mess with you anymore and they just start being rude or distant or like, yeah. That's what happened to me when I got my heart broken. And then he eventually, finally had a little bit of courage to be like, yeah, I don't want this anymore. And I was like, ah! So yeah, after a year of being together, we broke up. It was very, very, y'all know how first loves get. I was in the trenches. But you know, both of us weren't really like those loud type of people that were like single. You know, like, I've never really done that about a breakup. So I remember I was like, at this time, it was like sophomore year in college and I only did 1 year of school. So I was living at home again. And yeah, I was still keeping in contact with Lottie a little bit. We used to just like catch up sometimes, or before we broke up, like sometimes we would still hang out with my ex together. And she used to braid my hair in college, so sometimes she'd braid my hair still. So I decided like a week or two after the breakup, I'm like, I guess I should like tell her, like, she is the person who got us together, so whatever. So I did that. I sent her voice memos on what happened. She was like super sweet. She was like, oh my god, like Alicia, like, can I pull up on you? Like, this is crazy. Like, I didn't know he was this type of dude. Yeah, y'all never know how demons your friends are. Anyway, so I'm like, yeah. So she pulls up when we talk. She's like, girl, this is crazy. And also, I knew some tea. So Hans and his best friend were both friends with Lottie from high school. His best friend was even more ancient, okay? When his best friend had a girlfriend, I made friends with her because we would all hang out. And he ended up dogging her, like cheating on her with his ex in their house, and he got caught by his parents. Like, he was just, it was a lot. So I told her the tea about my ex, and I told her the tea about her other friend. Like, yeah, this is the type of dudes you're friends with. And she was just like acting so shocked, like, oh my god, this is crazy. Like, I'm gonna call Hans and like ask him about it. Like, how could he not talk about what he did to you? And she said she did. And she was also like, this is like so crazy. Like, I'm so sorry, Alicia. Like, I feel like I could really stop being friends with them over this. Like, she was she was whipping all that, like, I'm a woman first, this and that. And so in that moment, like, I felt kind of comforted, like a mutual person was on my side. And I was like, oh, like maybe she is cool, whatever, right? Wrong. So a couple months passed after my breakup, and I started peeping even more stuff, y'all. Okay, so mind you how I said she would always repost my boyfriend at the time's ex, talk about fly, love her, da da da, even though she would always tell me she does not like that girl and does not mess with her. So I remember she would obviously do that, but one thing I noticed, and also she met like my family along the way, because you know, sometimes when my family used to come and take me grocery shopping, she used to come with us. Or she also used to braid my sister's hair. Like, my family knew her. She met my cousin because they abandoned him at Six Flags. One time we all had a group trip to Six Flags. She met my cousin, so she used to follow my cousin. She used to follow my sister, all that. I noticed one day she reposted my cousin, like, oh, fly, love her, whatever, yada, yada, yada. And I was just like, And I noticed, y'all, in the year and a half of being friends with this girl, she would repost my boyfriend's ex, repost my cousin, or whatever, people she met through me, whatever. And I'm like, not one time, I really sat and thought to myself, I was like, not one time did she ever repost, like, or show love to my stuff. And I'm her roommate, and she said she considers me a close friend. And I just thought about that. I was like, wait, because we would literally have photo shoots together where, like, obviously I would repost her pictures anyway sometimes, but especially I'm the one who took them. Like, she would take some of my pictures and she wouldn't, like, it was just like, and I know, like, from the outside, from the surface, it can seem like a little bit like shallow, but no, y'all, it's the fact that she never repost showed love once when I'm her roommate and her close friend, but she want to repost and show love to my boyfriend's ex and like my cousin and my sister that she barely knows, but never me. Like, I really thought about that, and I was like, why is that? Like, what? Like, it's giving undercover animosity. Like, I was so confused. So mind you, like I said, at this time we weren't roommates anymore. The year had ended. And so, like, I was just really thinking about it and wondering about it. So I decided, I was like, you know what? Let me just talk to her about everything. Like, what I peeped about her showing love to this girl she hated, who was my boyfriend at the time's ex, and the fact that I'm like, she reposts like all these people I introduced her to, but never to me. And so I brought it up to her, and she was like, the first thing, y'all, she came with the whole victim. Like, when it came to my ex's ex, she was like, whoa, like, I never said I didn't like her. Like, she was my friend too. We were on volleyball together. Like, I just said I didn't like them together, and I thought you guys were different. She really tried to pull that, like, I never said I didn't like her, I just didn't like her ways or whatever. Like, girl, get the fuck out of here with that.
You was a bitch.
And we really wasn't getting anywhere, like, on that standpoint. So I was literally just like, girl, you said you didn't like her, but okay. She was like, no, I never said that, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, as far as you repost, like, my family and people that I introduced you to, but I was like, you say I'm your close friend and I'm this and that, but, like, you never have shown love to me once. Like, and I was like, I just remember, like, some reason I literally just remember. And she was like, what? That's not true. I've posted you multiple times. I literally was like, girl, like, you haven't. Like, I literally thought about this. I thought about all of this before I came to you with this conversation. I was like, you haven't. Like, even when we had photo shoots together. And she was just like, huh? Like, what? And mind you, like I said, how my ex Hans found me, it wasn't from her reposting me. It was from her tagging me in pictures I took of her. So she literally was like, I'm gonna go in my archive right now because I know I reposted you. So she did. And she was like, or I think it was either her archive or our messages. I think she literally said, like, I was like, you can literally scroll in our messages, like, you never reposted me. And she did, and she found out I was right. So, bitch, what now? And I was basically waiting, like, okay, girl, what you gonna say now? And she was just like, I don't know. Like, I just thought I did. Like, it wasn't purposeful, Alicia. I promise. Da, 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 da. And, like, there really wasn't much to say because it's like, what can I say back? Like, girl, I know you lying, but okay. So it basically was just like, okay, y'all, tell me why after this conversation. So she wasn't like a hair braider. She used to just braid people she knew. Like, she used to braid her sisters. Me and my sister were the first people whose hair she braided that like weren't related to her. And I remember after this conversation that seemed to end on a good note, I was just like, oh, okay, it wasn't on purpose. Yeah, bitch, I don't believe you, but whatever. Like, I still kept in contact with her, like followed her and stuff, because I was like, okay, she's fake, but I was like, it's fine. Our friendship isn't what it used to, but there's no like beef. I just see the type of person she is. So, but she was still like, yeah, like, we're cool, girl. Like, let me know if you need your hair braided again, whatever. Why, after that conversation, I hit her up for her to braid my hair? She used to braid my hair for hella cheap. Like, she used to literally say, like, I don't know, like, I'll just do it for free. And I was like, no, girl. Like, I used to still pay her. I'm like, girl, braiding hair is a lot of work. Why, after that conversation, after I confronted her on her little fakeness, she gonna say, yeah, I can braid your hair, but now it's full price. Okay, bitch. Okay.
What is it, the brakes?
I literally just left her on red. I didn't say anything after that. About 6 months after that breakup with her friend, I started dating this other guy, and I remember, again, girl, it's like, you being fake and you all this, but I remember, like, when I used to post my new ex, she used to slide up talking about, oh my god, who's this? Oh my god, so glad you moved on from my And also, did I mention this time too, remember when I told her about the breakup? She used to be all like, oh, I'll really stop being friends with them over this, like, I'm a woman first. She used to still post hanging out with them. Like, girl, it's like, I understand those were your high school friends, even though they treated you like you wasn't shit before we started dating. Clock it. But at the end of the day, it's like, if those are the friends you choose, whether it's time, whether it's male validation, whether it's high school, whatever, but it's just like, girl, you didn't have to tell me. I'll really stop being friends with them over this because I'm a woman first. You didn't have to do all that, girl, if you was just gonna be friends with them. Like, girl, just go be friends with the fake bitches. It's okay. But yeah, I eventually just got tired of all the fake shit I peeped, and I just unfollowed her off everything. What, maybe a year and a half ago? And yeah, the reason I titled this Jealous Friends Story Times is because I feel like I talked about this with like my best friend the other day, because it came up, I think, and she still goes to that school. And we both came to the conclusion, like, what if she had some sort of animosity towards you? Because what I said, like, her guy friends were literally, like, just disposing of her, not giving her energy, not putting effort into the friendship. But then as soon as I came into the picture and I started dating, and then we all became friends, then that's when they started replying to her and, oh, we should all hang out and blah, blah, blah. So my friend was like, what if she was, like, jealous that, like, the guys did her like that, but then the dynamic changed, and maybe that's why she wasn't posting you, or she like secretly had some animosity. I don't know for sure. I never asked her, but I feel like that's what it was giving, y'all. It was just so weird. I don't know. But yeah, this was just, at first I didn't think this could be like a story time, because I was like, it was kind of just me like peeping fake stuff, but then it eventually turned into like, okay, I guess I could gather all of it and then make it into something. But yeah, that was it. I remember I saw her like 6 months ago at like a college event, and I remember I peeped, she saw me, and she just looked like she saw a ghost. Like, she was like, I was just like, like, I don't know, girl, it's not that serious. Like, I didn't have anything against her, but it was just funny. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening to this story time. Let me know if you can relate, because people be trifling. I don't know what their problem is, but literally this story is kind of sad, because I told that story and then the story about my like college bestie. I'm like, I feel like I just have not had good luck like making friends outside of high school. Like all the people I still hang out with and stuff is literally people I've known for a long time, which I don't want to knock that because long-term friendships are really beautiful, but yeah, it's hard out here. Please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, y'all, if you want to hear more story times. I have a story times playlist. And also if you enjoyed listening to me yap, you know, all of that, you should follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Alicia Milan, especially TikTok. I'll be yapping on there daily and I go live a lot, so it's cool to see you guys on live. But yeah, thank you guys for listening, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.